That's a bit loud. Maybe a little bit of music. That's fine. Okay. What are we doing? Sip of coffee first. So, we get it sidetracked just a little bit. Just a little, nothing major. So probably, hopefully this is the last one. As in, started with SDL, I went to GTK, and I think really it needs to be X11. X11 Windows system. Or X Windows system. Yeah, the reason being, it seems closer to Win32 than GTK. And plus, I realized it quite late. There's a couple of things that didn't seem right. One is the way you communicate, as in there's only like 3 or 4 things that you can really see, and it's just blocking on its own. Yeah, at first I was like, maybe it's just normal, but yeah. And I mean, if 4 days, it's weird, 4 days ago I wouldn't have even considered trying to get this to work, but I haven't done GTK and STL, or like tried them, not done. I think we could give this a go. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit intimidating, the site itself, but yeah. I mean, also it seems truer to Handmade Hero for Linux. Actually, there was what was it called? Handmade Penguin, something like that. This one was the same, but for Linux. I think he does use SDL. Why? I can't remember why it said. Yeah, here. Few people have asked why Handmade Penguin is using STL, whereas Casey is not using any non-system libraries. There are a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, STL is much easier to use than calling X11 directly. Okay. There's no way I'd be able to write these without falling behind. Secondly, while doing things from scratch, it's an excellent learning experience. Once you're comfortable with how things work under the hood, using a library like STL is the right way to go. Most of the STL code we use works without modification on other platforms. I mean, I don't care about the platforms at this point. And all the nasty bugs and issues with X11 and the like are already worked out for us. Maybe. Done Q&A for a lot of Linux games, and the ones that use SDL was significantly less buggy. Okay. And those that used X11 directly. Besides, since Casey is going to be doing a Linux port anyway, it'll be boring to do exactly the same thing twice. Oh, okay. So I guess, I don't know. I think well, let me read a little bit, see if I can make any sense. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if Casey did handmade export. Did he do it? Quickly going to stay short. Blah, blah, blah. OS is Ubuntu. Yep. Wine GCC. No, that's just mine. That doesn't work. Well, it works with SDL. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. See if I can make any sense. Okay, we'll read a little bit. Okay, this is acknowledgements. Kind of feel bad not reading it. I'll read the first paragraph. Then implementation of the first 10 versions of X, primarily work of 3 individuals. Robert, so we'll call him Robert, of the MIT lab for computer science, and Jim Geddes of Digital Equipment Corporation, and Ron Newman of MIT. Both at MIT Project Athena. X version 11, however, is a result of efforts of dozens of individuals at almost many locations and organizations. Okay, they still acknowledge people. Pretty good. Okay, overview of the X window system. The X window system is a network transparent window system that was designed at MIT. X display servers run on. Oh, it's kind of tiny. Like, see, you can just believe me. X display servers run on computers with either monochrome or color bitmap display hardware. Server distributes user input and accepts output requests from various client programs located either on the same machine or elsewhere in the network. Xlib is a C subroutine library that application programs use to interface with the Windows system by means of a stream connection. Although a client usually runs on the same machine as the X server it is talking to, this need not be the case. And now that I realized, even if it's buggy, this is like more of an exploration process. So in the future, let's say I do want to build an application, you could just use STL. I guess it should be easier, if anything. Right. Xlib C language X interface is a reference guide to the low-level C language interface to the Windows system protocol. It's neither a tutorial nor a user's guide to programming the X window system. Rather, it provides a detailed description of each function in the library as well as discussion of the related background information. Xlib C language X interface assumes a basic understanding of a graphics window system. I would say no, and the C programming language, maybe a bit more than the graphic window. Other higher level abstractions are built on top of the Xlib library. Further information about these higher level libraries, see the appropriate toolkit documentation. The X system protocol provides the definitive word on the behavior of X. Although additional information appears here, the protocol document is ruling document. Actually, it's a huge document. Okay, we'll come back to that one. To provide an introduction to X programming, this chapter discusses overview, standard header files. It'd be nice if they had, let me check. X, what's it called? Like a hello world. Connect to X server. X open display, display name. What's display name? Oh, okay, if one is open already. Oh, equal to null. Couldn't connect to X server. Why do they call a server? Don't understand that. Create simple window. Display. Root window. XY width height. Border width. Black pixel. White pixel. I mean, it does look much similar, much closer to the Win32 API. Okay, maybe I'll leave that open. Hang on, there was another one I wanted to check out. X window basics. Okay. Check that out too. Okay, I think that'll do for now. Jeez, this is like use something else. Okay. Kind of. Okay, I think. Should I read this? Yeah, I think sounds could be useful. Maybe later. Let me read through it a little bit more. Overview of the X window system. Some of the terms used in this book. Is it a book? Thought it was a doc. This book are unique to X, and the other terms that are common to other Windows systems have different meanings in X. The X Windows system supports one or more screens containing overlapping windows or sub-windows. The screen is a physical monitor and hardware that can be color, grayscale, or monochrome. There may be multiple screens for each display or workstation. Yep. A single X server can provide display services for any number of screens. Okay. Set of screens for a single. Why does it show that? Okay. Where did it go? Where was I? Totally lost. Yeah, a set of screens for a single user with one keyboard and one pointer is called a display. Right, okay, gotcha. All the windows in an X server are arranged in strict hierarchies. At the top of each hierarchy is a root window, which covers each of the display screens. Each root window is partially or completely covered by child windows. All windows except for root windows have parents. Okay. There is usually at least one window for each application program. Child windows may in turn have their own children. In this way, an application program can create an arbitrarily deep tree of each screen. X provides graphics, text, and raster operations for Windows. Okay. A child window can be larger than its parent. That is, part or all of the child window can extend beyond the boundaries of the parent. But all output to a window is clipped by its parent. If several children of a window have overlapping locations, one of the children is considered to be on top or off or raised over the others, thus obscuring them. Output to areas covered by other windows is suppressed by the Windows system unless the window has backing store. If a window is obscured by a second window, the second window obscures only those ancestors of the second window that are also ancestors of the first window. Okay. A window has a border 0 or more pixels in width. Border 0 or more pixels. Okay, gotcha. Which can be any pattern or solid color you like. A window usually, but not always, has a background pattern, which can be repainted by the Windows system when uncovered. Okay. Child windows obscure their parents, and graphic operations in the parent usually are clipped by the children. Each window and pixmap has its own coordinate system. Coordinate system has the x-axis horizontal and y-axis vertical with the origin 0, 0 at the upper left. Coordinates are integral in terms of pixels and coincide with pixel centers. For a window, the origin is inside the border. The inside upper left corner. X does not guarantee to preserve the contents of windows when in part or all of a window is hidden and bob back into the screen, its content may be lost. Okay. The server then sends the client program an expose event to notify it that part or all of the window needs to be repainted. Programs must be prepared to regenerate the contents of windows on demand. X also provides off-screen storage of graphics object called pixmaps. Single plane pixmaps are sometimes referred to as bitmaps. I have seen it somewhere. Where does he mention bitmap? Yeah, here. Interesting. Okay, so far sounds like the right choice. Pixmaps can be used in most graphics functions interchangeably with Windows and used in various graphics operations to define patterns or tiles. Windows and pixmaps together are referred to as drawables. Okay. Most of the functions in Xlib just add requests to an output buffer. These requests execute asynchronously on the X server. Functions that return values of information stored in the server do not return until an explicit reply is received or an error occurs. Functions that return values of information stored in the server do not return until an explicit reply is received. Okay. I'm not sure I fully understand. You can provide an error handler. It's quite hard to read when it fits the page like this. Error handler which will be called when the error is reported. Okay. The client hate the hover thing. A client does not want to request to execute asynchronously can follow request with call to xsync, which blocks until all previously buffered async events have been sent or acted on. As an important side effect, the output buffer in Xlib is always flushed by a call to any function that returns a value from the server or waits for input. I wonder what they mean by the server. It's like the Windows server. Many Xlib functions will return an integer resource ID. Okay. Which allows you to refer to objects stored on the X server. This can be type of window, font, pixmap, color map, cursor, G context as defined in X11/X. These resources are created by requests and are destroyed by requests or when connections are closed. Most of these resources are potentially shareable between applications, and in fact, windows are manipulated explicitly by window manager programs. Okay. Fonts and cursors are shared automatically across multiple screens. Fonts are loaded and unloaded as needed and are shared by multiple clients. Fonts are often cached in the server. X11 provides no support for sharing graphics context between applications. Client programs are informed of events. Events may either be side effects of a request. Jeez, it's already been 30 minutes. Totally lost. Most of the resources are potentially shareable between applications, and in fact, windows are manipulated explicitly by window manager programs. Fonts and cursors are shared automatically across multiple screens. Okay. Fonts are often cached. X11 does not support sharing graphics context between applications. I mean, it makes sense. Client programs are informed of events. Events may either be side effects. For example, restacking window generates exposed events. Okay. Or completely async, for example, from the keyboard. Client program asks to be informed of events because other applications can send events to your application. Programs must be prepared, handle or ignore events of all types. Input events, for example, a key pressed on or the pointer moved, arrive synchronously from the server and are queued until they are requested by an explicit call. X next event, X window event. Okay. Errors. Some functions return status, an integer error indication. If the function fails, it returns 0. If the function returns a status of 0, it has not updated the return arguments because C does not provide multiple return values. Many functions must return the results by writing into client path storage. Is that why? Okay, I didn't know that. Because the pattern is very common. You pass it a pointer to a variable and then C writes to it. And the function writes to it. By default, errors are unhandled either by a standard library function or by one that you provide. Functions that return pointers to strings return null pointers if the string does not exist. The X server reports protocol errors at the same time detect them. If more than one error could be generated for a given request, the server can report any of them. Because Xlib usually does not transmit requests to the server immediately, that is, it buffers them, errors can be reported much later than they actually occur. For debugging purposes, however, Xlib provides a mechanism for forcing synchronous behavior. Okay. When synchronization is enabled, errors are reported as they are generated. When Xlib detects an error, it calls an error handler which your program can provide. If you do not provide an error handler, the error is printed and your program terminates. Okay, standard header files. Cold. Following include files are part of the Xlib standard. It's the main header file for Xlib. The majority of Xlib symbols are declared by including this file. The file also contains the preprocessor symbol, Xlib specification release. The symbol is defined to have the 6 in this release of the standard. Okay. X.h. This file type declares types and constants for the X protocol that are used by applications. It is included automatically from Xlib, so application code. Okay, perfect. Contains symbol for color management facilities. Okay. Has various functions, types and symbol used for inter-client communication. Resource declares all functions, types and symbol for the resource manager facilities. Xlib must be included before including this file. Same for this one. X Adam. This file declares all predefined atoms. Guess I know where to start, so need X. Is it capital? Looks like it. I'll leave that. Don't need this. Yep. Well, just gotta start from scratch. Item, I think we can just check when needed. Cursor. Key SymDef. Key sim values for your symbols with the prefix XK. As a look, declare symbols for basic X protocol, including. Okay, don't need to do this. Don't need that. This is also automatically included. Okay. I think most. Yeah. Xlib seems to cover everything you need. Most of. Following symbols are. Be nice if they had an example. Okay, so this is first step. Okay, I'll just read through it. The generic symbols are defined by xlib and used throughout the menu. Xlib defines the type bool and the boolean true false. None is the universal null resource, ID or atom. None. Okay, the type xid is used for generic resource IDs. The type xpointer is defined to be a char pointer and is used as a generic opaque pointer to data. Naming and argument conventions with xlib. Xlib follows a number of conventions for naming and syntax of the functions. Given that you remember that information, hang on. Where's the example? So I guess the first thing he does is main should be creating the display. I'll leave that for now. Open display. System setup. Yeah. This seems to be the first step. X open display. Says nullis. Default screen, display width, height. You need to pass the screen number. Okay. Yeah, we're only going to be using one screen, so I think it makes sense. Oh, screen? No, screen is the actual physical display, as far as I understand. Initial window size and position. It's top left. Width. Display width by 3. Create simple window. Okay, I mean, it's starting to make sense. Ooh, I see default screen. What is GLFW? Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Does it give code examples? No. Okay. Following symbols are defined by Xlib and used throughout the manual. Bool values true or false, true and false. None is the universal null resource ID. Type XID is used for, I read that already. Xlib follows a number of conventions for the naming and syntax of the functions. Given that you remember that what information the function requires, these conventions are intended to make the syntax of the function more predictable. Okay. The major conventions are: to differentiate the X symbols from other symbols, the library uses mixed case for external symbols, leaves lowercase for variables, and uppercase for user macros. All Xlib functions begin with capital X. Beginnings of all function names and symbols are capitalized. All user visible data structures begin with a capital X. More generally, anything the user might dereference begins with a capital X. Okay. Guessing by user they mean the programmer using it, not the application user. This makes sense. Macros and other symbols do not begin with capital X. Okay. To distinguish them from all user symbols, each word in the macro is capitalized. All elements of variables in data structures are in lowercase. Compound words, where needed, are constructed with underscore. The display argument, where used, is always first in the argument list. All resource objects, where used, occur at the beginning of the argument list immediately after the display argument. When a graphics context is present together with another type of resource, the graphic context occurs in the argument list after the other resource. Drawables outrank all other resources. So what was that again? Totally. I read it, but I didn't read it. When a graphics context is present together with other type of resource, the graphics context occurs in the argument list after the other resource. Okay. Drawables outrank all other resources. Source arguments always precede the destination arguments in the argument list. Okay. The X argument the small x. Argument always precedes the y argument, the argument list. Okay. Width precedes height. Where x, y, width and height arguments are used together, x and y, always precede the width and height. Where a mask is accompanied with a structure, the mask always precedes the pointer to the structure in the argument list. Okay, not too bad. Programming considerations. Coordinates and sizes in X are actually 16-bit quantities. Okay. That is interesting. This decision was made to minimize the bandwidth required for a given level of performance. Coordinates usually are decided as an int in the interface. Values larger than 16 bits are truncated silently. Sizes are declared as unsigned quantities. Okay, so they're all U16, or maybe, yeah, because even XY top left is 0, 0. Keyboards are the greatest variable between different manufacturers' workstations. If you want your program to be portable, should be particularly conservative here. Many display systems have limited amounts of off-screen memory. You should minimize the use of pix maps and backing store. The user should have control of their screen real estate. Therefore, you should write your applications to react to window management rather than presume control of the entire screen. What you do inside of your top level window is, however, is up to the application. For further information, interclient communications manual. Right. Character sets and encoding. Some of the Xlib functions make reference to specific character sets and character encodings. Following are the most common. Exportable character set. Basic set of 97 characters which are assumed to exist in all locales supported by Xlib. A to Z, capital A to Z. Seems like most of the symbols. This set is the left/lower half of the graphic character. Okay, I guess in standard character set. Formatting conventions. C language X interface uses the following conventions. Global symbols are printed in this special font. They can be either function name, symbol defines include files or structure names, and declared and defined function arguments are printed in italics. The explanatory text that follows usually are printed in regular type. Okay, I guess just gonna skip the rest of it. Display functions. I guess we can try to open a window. Display. Let's open display. Say else. Then you wait. One. There was, I don't remember the syntax, but okay, it's or else. So is it okay? Now it's a struct display. Perfect. Display. Okay. What can we do with the display? Ooh, specifies the hardware display name. What did he use as the display name? It determines the display and communication domain to be used. On a POSIX conformance system, display name is null. Okay, it'll default to a value itself. Display name goes null. I can just use null there. Why do I need this? that in there, so I'll forget in a few days. The encoding and interpretation of the display name are implementation dependent. Strings in the host portable character encoding are supported for other characters. Support for other characters is implementation dependent. On POSIX conformance system, the display name or display environment variable can be a string in the format protocol hostname number screen number. Okay. I'll just don't need it, so leave it. For example, the following would specify screen 1 of display 0 on the machine named dual-headed. Machine screen dot display dot screen. Okay, so X open display. I could can I see this? It's off. I mean, it's opaque. That means it's private and I can't see the internals as far as I understand. Yeah, because okay. Excuse me. Jeez. Tanning and whoa. The X open display function returns a display structure that serves as the connection to the X server, and that contains all the information about that X server. Returns a display structure that serves, okay, and contains, okay, gotcha. This is the bit that I find super confusing. Connects your application to the X server through TCP or DEC net communication protocols. Oh, okay, or through some local inter-process communication. Okay. If no protocol is specified and the hostname is a host machine name, and a single colon separates the host name and the display number. Not sure why. Okay, but I mean, I'll keep reading. Connects using TCP streams. Protocol INET IPv6, otherwise implementation determines which IP version is used. The hostname and protocol are both not specified. Xlib uses whatever it believes is the fastest transport. The hostname is a machine name and double colon separates the host name and the display number. Connects using DECnet. Not sure what that is. Single server can support all of these simultaneously. Okay. If successful, it returns a point to display structure. It's defined there. Does not succeed, returns null. After excuse me, successful call to Xopen display, all of the screens in the display can be used by the client. The number specified in the display name argument is returned by the default screen macro or by the X default screen function. Okay, so we need to get the default screen. Can access elements of the display and screen structures only by using macros or functions. Functions about using macros and functions to obtain information from display structure. See section 2 point there. What is black pixel? Okay, to implementing a monochrome application. Okay. Obtaining information about the display, image formats or screens. I am quite tempted to try this example. Okay, interesting. Screen number is C dot default screen of display. Oops. So typo. Struct unnamed target default screen. Display width. Display width. Screen. This might actually not work because what type does it expect? Okay, any type there. and display. Right. Okay. Oh yeah. X equals. I need to know the type. U16. Create simple window. Okay, let me go forward. Connection number, default color map, default depth. So that's what we used. Get the default screen. What if I used, so this, my guess is a micro. I think better to use the function. Turns AC int. Excuse me. Display planes, display string. Okay, it's got a lot of methods. Image format. See, we can find screen. X close display. Display. I don't know if I can do that. Destroys all windows, resource IDs. Okay. Threads using internal connections. I want to see screens, creating windows. Okay. What's the difference? Xlib provides basic ways of creating windows, and toolkits often supply higher level functions specifically for creating and placing top level windows, which are discussed in the appropriate toolkit documentation. Okay, if you don't use a toolkit, you need to provide some basic information. If you use Xlib to create your own top level windows, you must observe the following rules so that all applications interact reasonably across different styles of window management. You must never fit the window manager. Yes, sir. For the size or placement of your top level window. You must be able to deal with whatever size window you get. Okay, gotcha. Should only attempt to resize or move top level windows in direct response to user request. You must be prepared to live with what you get. You are free to resize or move the children of top level windows as necessary. If you do not use a toolkit that automatically sets standard window properties, you must set these properties for top level windows before mapping them. What are these toolkits? Is the more general function that allows you to set specific window attributes when you create a window. Creates a window that inherits its attributes from its parent window. Interesting. The X server acts as if input-only windows do not exist for the purposes of graphics requests, exposure, processing, visibility. An input-only window cannot be used as a drawable. Can define other classes of windows. To create an unmapped window and set its window attributes, use xCreateWindow. Display parents. XY width, height, border width, depth. What if it doesn't have a parent? Class specifies the creative Windows class. You can pass input, output, input only, or copy from parent. Visual. Value mask specifies the window attributes are defined. Which window attributes are defined in the attributes argument. The xCreate window function creates an unmapped sub-window for a specified parent window. Returns the window ID of the created window and causes the X server to generate a create notify event. The created window is placed on top in the stacking order with respect to siblings. So what did he set as the parent? Ah, the root window. Window parent is c dot get x root window. Takes interesting. Display and screen. Display pattern XY with border background. What did you specify? Okay. Returns a window. Let's create simple window. Display. Window parent X, Y. Width, height. What did you put as the border width? Is that the type? Okay, yeah, it is. Specifies the background pixel value of the window. Let's see what value it takes. C dot X black pixel takes display and screen. Just defer. I don't need to. It says it closes itself, so close window. Destroy window. Display as well. Okay, what's next? I'm gonna let the window manager know about something, but I don't know what. Destroying windows, mapping windows. Window is considered mapped if an X window call has been made on it. May not be visible on the screen for one of the following reasons. Okay. Okay. Why do we need to map it? Suppose events are generated for the window when part or all of it becomes visible on the screen. Client receives only if it has asked for them. Windows retain their position in the stacking order when they are unmapped. A window manager may want to control the placement of sub-windows. If the substructure redirect mask has been selected by a window manager or a parent window, a map request initiated by other clients on a child window is not performed, and the window manager is sent a map request event. However, if the override redirect flag on the child has been set to true, usually only on pop-up menus, the map request is performed. A tiling window manager might decide to reposition and resize other clients' windows and then decide to map the window to its final location. A window manager that wants to provide decoration might reparent the child into a parent first. Section 3.28. Only a single client at a time Can select substructure redirect mask. Excuse me. Okay, it's not a pop-up, so we don't need to worry about the redirect. Okay, provided window. And what was the other one? Icon name. Okay, so before you map, there's quite a few things you gotta do. I guess this is the message that's received. Okay. I mean, this looks much closer to what Casey did. String list to text property. Okay, before mapping, actually it was mentioned here as well. What if I just mapped it, see what happens? No. Set window manager properties. The manager protocols class. Damn, it's like massive. It's like all the way here compared to where mapping is. Actually, they did link to it, so it's fair. Might just use this example. String list to text property. What does this do? Sets the specified text property to be of type string. The value representing concatenation of the specified list of full separated character strings. Guess it maps it to available. The value representing that. An extra null byte is stored at the end of the value field of the text prop return. What is size? Oh, I totally missed this. Okay, I'm just gonna map it, see what happens. X map window, display and window. Turns nothing. Map window. Alright. What does it return? Just ignore it for now. Doesn't say anything. Display and window. Okay, and then I guess we can run the event loop. Okay. I mean, this is definitely not gonna work, but can try. Build, run. See import struct display and void. Okay, yeah. Turn 1. Expected 2 arguments. See display width. I think it requires. What's DPY? Display. I don't know. I think using the function seems better than using the macro. But use int cast. Div. Forgot what it was for. Sit div trunk. Signed integer reference must be count time known positive. In other cases, use div trunk. Well, I've used one of these. Expected 9 arguments, found 8. What's the last one? Ulong. X white pixel display screen. Expected C uint or that's XY width. Can I do uint? Guesses you should cast it. cats. Whoa. Okay. Got tomatoes. That was expected. Undefined symbol, map window. Really? It looks pretty defined. I need to... Did I need to... Right, here. I need to link X11. Okay. Nothing comes up. Which is... I don't know if that's good or bad. The only thing I've skipped is... well, basically this one. X11 set. Window manager ins. Yeah, because at the very least, I should see a window. And I think the worst part is there's no errors. Maybe that is because I haven't configured. That was like 2 hours. I'd like to see. I want to know what's the point of this. What is the purpose? Convert C string to an X11 text property format so it can be used to set window title or name. Okay, I mean, what do I need to do? String list to text property. String list to text. Dynamic type X string list to text property. Apparently there's nothing defined. Might be defined in utilities. Xutil. Okay, there we go. It's a slice UA, secant, and property. Right. I see what you mean. Because it was mentioned. I did read it somewhere. No, I didn't. I'm not sure about this one. Window name. Ah, I see. It gets it saved somewhere. Not sure that's gonna work. To throw, yeah. I'm not sure I understand this type. Let me ask Cloud. How can I convert to expected? Yeah, just what's the type? Wait, then pointer cost. I don't know. Let me try. Not sure how to do this. Expect a C pointer of a slice to slice. You wait. Will that work? Nah, same thing. Maybe I could try this. That doesn't even look right. Pointed to that. Did do it when I was. Maybe I can find it. No idea. No idea. Was found. String types. Okay, it should only be used in auto-generated code. Using C pointer is in auto-generated code from translating C code. That means Standard mem.span. What does that do? Why it's so slow? Come on. Okay. So you're saying that could work? The name. A pointer. Slice of const UA. Non constituate of does that work? Yeah, didn't think that would work. kind of stumped. It's already a pointer, so I think we'll say slice. Jeez, what did I open? Now I'm trying to wrap my head around why specifically what the ampersand is for. I mind that this is creating something closer to char star star star. In declaration, foo slice 10t is an array. Yeah. Okay. Man dot span. C pointer. Why the wherever possible the only reason is auto-generated from translating C code. What's the... oh, it's an array. No member named pointer. It's a const pointer. Choice types. Maybe that could work. Be nice if there was an example. I mean, I can try it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. So no, I'm kind of stuck now. Actually, something I should have tried before is see if this actually. Nah. Can't remember how to link X11. maybe I can just, what's the type? I mean, this is definitely a skill issue on my end. I don't understand why. Why does it need like such? String list. String list. I mean, the name. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna call it a day there. I'll figure it out. Leave that as a problem for tomorrow. Alright, I mean, it's not a positive end. I would have liked to have the window open, but I'm stuck. I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you for hanging out. Have a good weekend, and I shall see you tomorrow.